Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, hi! X-Files is one of the greatest sci-fi shows ever. There's a reason it lasted so long. With speculation of a new series, this seems like the best time to make the top 10 scariest X-Files episodes of all time. At number 10, Ice. One of my personal favourites. It is basically The Thing, the famous movie by John Carpenter, but it has an X-Files spin. Set in an Arctic base, strange occurrences have been occurring, with many dying just out of nowhere. Once Mulder and Scully begin investigating, however, they soon learn there's more going on. With tension rising, our protagonists discover a hidden parasite which has been infiltrating the base. Now, they just need to figure out how to stop its spread. Next up, Roadrunners. This is another scary episode, hence its placement on this list, with strange slug aliens and religious cults. Scully is sent in to investigate a murder, and soon comes face to face with reality. She is in the middle of a conspiracy that the slugs invading are the second coming of Christ. Horrified, she realizes the slugs need human hosts to survive, and she is up next. Now, the whole mind control and brainwashed group are scary enough, even without the drip feed of tension that makes this a terrifying episode. And at the 8th spot, we have Grotesque. This episode is about a serial murderer who has already gained victims and is praying for more. Well, that's scary enough. There is the added plot of possession and art, all marrying together towards the climax, where Mulder discovers a room full of clay statues, gargoyle in appearance. As he searches, he realizes the gargoyles aren't just clay, it's where the murderer has hidden his victims. This episode is horrifying, with its slow build-up and terrifying reveal. If the X-Files is good at just one thing, it's tension. Up at number 7, we have The Host. Within the sewage system in New Jersey, Mulder discovers a strange entity which has been living there for a while. Feeding off of humans it finds, it ravages and destroys. The titular Fluke Man, as he has been dubbed by fans, transmits larvae through his bites. This leads to the possibility of even more. The ending only rams up the fear factor, creating what I think is a chilling episode. Next up, Folie à Deux. This one creates fear through the unpredictable. Is the man insane, or is there actually a monster? In this episode, Mulder is held hostage by an office employee who believes his boss is a monster and is turning his colleagues into zombies. When it ends, you're left with the question, was he insane, or was his boss truly a monster? This creates a feeling of unknown, and with the scary monster scene, it just furthers the unease. At 5, Sanguinarium. This is a particularly scary episode, taking place in a plastic surgery office. In the pursuit of beauty and youth, a surgeon is ending the lives of his patients. After an investigation, Mulder concludes the surgeon is a dark magician, with the ending being particularly perturbing. This is a chilling episode, with lots of the horror coming from the surgery procedures and the scary imagery. A particularly scary episode, with it feeling different from the other episodes with its atmosphere and frequent close-ups of surgeries. At spot 4, Irresistible. This one relies on the horror of the unknown, and, like many others, just how unpredictable it is. A mortuary worker begins to grow a collection of victims, with his eyes set on one person in particular, Scully. Scully is abducted by him, with his true nature beginning to appear. He changes from the shape of a human to a demon. By the end of the episode, you don't know whether there was a demon, or if it was all a hallucination, or culminating in a chilling afterthought of what could have happened to Scully if she wasn't able to escape. Next up, Familia. This is a particularly frightening episode, from one of the later series. The main antagonist, Mr. Chuckleteeth, is frightening from appearance alone. However, the deaths, frightening monster, and supernatural powers all culminate into a frightening episode, full of paranoia, jump scares, and more. Just the fact that the creature is able to commit so much danger is horrifying. However, in my opinion, the most terrifying aspect of this whole episode is Mr. Chuckleteeth, and for good reason. At number 2, Squeeze. Possibly the most famous episode of The X-Files, this makes you sit on the edge of your seat the whole episode, feeling like nowhere in the house is safe. Mulder and Scully investigate deaths, happening over a century, and in locations almost impossible for a person to enter. The antagonist, Eugene Toombs, is terrifying, with his ability to manipulate his body to get into difficult-to-reach locations, just adding to the horror. He is a horrifying creature, and makes any person terrified of their surroundings. Finally, at the number 1 spot, Home. Probably the most infamous episode of X-Files, this episode was banned for its contents. Containing deaths of children, mutations, and more, it is a saddening and frightening episode. The opening is particularly bad, with imagery of death, lots of it. Most people see this as the darkest X-Files has ever gone, with the main peacock family being possibly the worst of all, who came to as a result of isolation and fear. All this comes together to create a scary and strange episode with a slow build and a huge climax. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video on the X-Files, and if you did, like and subscribe.